Hello, scholars. So today we're going to continue talking about different rhythms in our notes, but we're going to take a slightly different approach, okay? So please get you a pencil and some blank sheet of paper. If you have staff paper, take that out. If you don't, that's okay. You're just going to have to draw on your own paper. But if you would like to figure out a free website or would like me to send you an email with a blank sheet of paper, staff paper on it, that way you can just print out and make copies for yourself, shoot me an email and let me know, okay? So let's begin. Now, as you can see, I already have my 5 lines on here on the board over here. And this is the first thing you need to do on your paper. You need to draw 5 lines, okay? 5 lines, left to right, going straight down, okay? And these are the lines to your staff, okay? So pause the video if you need to. I don't expect the lines to be perfect, especially if you're not using a ruler, but do the best that you can, okay? So, now, getting started, we already know how to draw a treble clef. So let's go ahead and let's draw that first. All right, let's remember the steps. If you have trouble, go back and look at the treble clef video on the steps. All right. Now, I know I really emphasized on shading in this line here. Now, that's because there's another name for the treble clef. G clef, okay? Another name for the treble clef is a G clef. And I will explain further about why that's also called the G clef, okay? Now, it's because of this second line. And we're going to talk more about the line letters and spacer letters sometime soon here. But first, let's get into what we like to call time signature. Okay, time signature. Now, the time signature tells you exactly what it's written to do. It tells you the time, okay? The time of any musical excerpt, any song, any tune, any rhythm assignment that we have to draw down. We're going to need to know the time signature, okay? Now, the time signature is made up of numbers, okay? Just to start out, these are going to be our numbers. It's going to look like a fraction, okay? As you can see, I drew a 4, 4 next to time signature. 4, 4. Now, this top number of this time signature, and remember it does look like a fraction, okay? So for all of you who loves math, this is your time to shine, okay? This is a musical version of math. So in your time signature, you have 2 numbers. You have the top number and you have the bottom number, okay? Now, this top number tells you how many beats are going to be in each measure, okay? How many beats? That's what the top number tells you. Now, the bottom number tells you something a little different. It tells you what kind of note gets a beat. Okay? So remember the top number, remember it tells you how many beats I need in each measure. Okay? It tells you how many beats I need in each measure. All right? And if you're unsure what a measure is, that's just a grouping of notes, okay? If you're familiar, if you looked at our previous videos of all of the rhythm 1 through 8, 9, or 10, I believe, we had different types of rhythms and beats on each number. Now, those numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those numbers represented a measure number. Okay? So we had maybe number 1, and we had something like this. Okay? It may have been something like that. All right? Now, I wrote number 1 to let you know that that is the first measure. I just didn't write measure 1. Okay? But number 1 represented a measure. Now, as you can see, think of it as in grouping. There are 4 groups in number 1. Now, what some of you are probably thinking is that, well, Mr. Burton, I see 2 notes right here, but you're saying that's also a group. That's because it is. That is because it is. Because this group and this group, it costs the same. Okay? It costs the same. That's also because this, even though they are 2 different notes, they are smaller than this. These are 2 eighth notes, okay? This is a quarter note. Once again, these are 2 eighth notes tied together. This is a quarter note, all right? And once again, if something gets a little confusing for you, because we're moving along here, moving through the lessons, make sure you email me, okay? And I will try my best to get back with you as soon as possible. But once again, this group, which is just a quarter note in this group, and this group, which is a pair of eighth notes, how many are in a pair? 2. So these are 2 notes in this group. But these 2 notes, and you need both of them to make that note, okay? To cost that note, excuse me. Because if I broke this up, it would look like this. And you'll be able to actually see both of the notes instead of being tied together by a bridge. You actually see both of them now. But if we're talking about being in this time signature, 4/4, I'm going to show you why this makes this smaller than this. Okay? Now, moving on. Remember, the top number tells you how many beats. The bottom number tells you what kind of note gets the beat. Now, what's on the bottom here? 4. So that means if you see a 4 on the bottom of any time signature, that tells you that any quarter note, which is a do, these do's are quarter notes. Okay, let's remember the name. This do is a quarter note, okay? That gets 1 beat because the bottom number of this time signature is 4/4. Sorry, the bottom number of this time signature is 4. Since it's a 4 on the bottom, the kind of note that gets 1 beat is the quarter notes, okay? So if I were to look at number 1 being measure 1, I see 2 beats already that I have. I need a total of 4 because the top number is 4. So I need 4 beats total. I see 1 quarter note, that's 1 beat. I see another quarter note, that's 2 beats. So I'm not looking at this yet. I'm not looking at the eighth notes yet. Now that I know that the eighth notes are smaller than the quarter note, I'm going to tell you about how much. One half Okay? So, since these eighth notes are only half, by themselves at least, is worth only half of a quarter note, I need two of them to make a full value of a quarter note. That way, these two will be one beat. Once again, these are two eighth notes. Each eighth note in 4/4 is only worth half of a quarter note. So if I was going to try to equal up another beat, so I have one beat here, one beat here. I need two more beats. Let's erase this so I won't confuse you. I need two more beats. I only have two with these two quarter notes. If I just had one eighth note, I would only have 2.5 beats in this measure. I would only have 2.5 beats. That's why I need to draw two eighth notes. Because what's half plus half? If I put two halves together, I'll get a whole, right? So now I have two eighth notes. Together, they make another beat. So let's take away these halves. And now I'm going to connect them so they won't look spaced apart, because we're dealing with groupings, okay? We're grouping them. So to make them look better, I put these two eighth notes together. Now that's another beat. So now I have one beat, two beats, and this together, that's another beat. So one plus another beat plus another beat. Now I have three beats so far. Quarter note, one beat. A pair of eighth notes, that makes me have two beats, because that's another beat. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus another beat, because I see another quarter note here. Now I have three beats. So how many more beats do I need in this measure, everyone? Excuse me. 1, and that will equal 4, okay? I have 3. Now I need one more beat, okay? And what did I have at first? Another pair of eighth notes. Another pair of eighth notes, okay? That's another beat. All of this is another beat. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals what? 4. I have 4 beats now. 1 beat, 2 beats, 3 beats, and 4 beats. Okay? I have 4 beats now in that measure. So, remember, this could be confusing, but feel free to rewind this video if you need to refresh her up, okay? So remember, we're talking about time signature. My time signature is 4/4. That's my set of number. My top number tells me how many beats I need in each measure. My bottom number tells me what kind of note gets the beat. In measure 1, which is number 1 here, I need 4 beats. I drew a quarter note, and since that's the kind of note that gets one whole beat, that means I already have 1 beat right here. Quarter note, bam, 1 beat. Now, I drew a pair of eighth notes. That is not 2 beats together. That is only equals up 1 beat, because you need 2 eighth notes to equal up to the same value as 1 quarter note. So I have 1 plus another whole beat here together. That's another 1. And then I drew another quarter note. That's another whole beat. So now I'm at 3 beats. And I drew another pair of eighth notes. Together makes another beat. And that will make my 4. 1 beat, 2 beat, 3 beat, 4 beats. Okay? And of course, as you know, if you were to say this rhythm, it'll be this. Think and speak. Do, day, do, do day. Did you hear 4 taps? That was my 4 beats that let me know I was finished. Each tap is 1 beat. 1, 2, let's do it together. Do day, do day. As you can see, I had to fit that whole do day into a tap before I got to the next tap. Okay? Let's do it once more. Do day, do day. We're going to deal with this more next time, and I hope this helps, okay? Now we're beginning to see the relation between our notes, and then next time we're going to put them on a stab to see how they will work. Enjoy.